Okay, this video is going to show a simple or closed or an uncomplicated hernia repair in full. This is the most common type we see in horses. There's no infection, there's no umbilical stalk, it's just a wall defect. So really all you have to do is clean up that and close the wall defect. He's starting with a fusiform incision, so a football shape that comes to a point. It's really hard to close a circle. And he's going to trim off the skin and any loose tissue that would get in the way of a nice secure closure. You can aid the anesthesia on this with a ring block around the umbilicus. Again, he's trimming. Here he may be trimming the edges of the ring to freshen them up. The biggest thing I find with closed umbilical hernia repairs is you're trying to close intact tissue to intact tissue, and I always worry it won't heal that way. So he's going to show you how he closes this by putting the end of the scalpel blade, the dull end, under the hernia ring to protect the intestines. So this is a tying platform sort of thing. He slides the opposite end underneath the body wall, and then he can stick his needle on top of the scalpel handle without stabbing any guts. Another thing to watch here next on his knot is how he actually performs a granny knot. And this is because if he does a granny knot on purpose, he can tighten it down on the third throw and get rid of some of the tension effects. So there we go. So there he just turned it into a granny knot, and he can tighten it down further that way on his, not on his third, on his second throw, because it's sliding still. So after this he's going to do good square knots, but he deliberately did a granny knot there just to be able to tighten it down because of some tension. There are other ways to manage that too. And he is doing simple interrupteds. We will do a continuous pattern. People mistakenly think that if they do a bunch of simple interrupteds and one knot fails, all the other knots will hold, and that's actually not true. Because once that one knot fails, all the other ones are put on an uneven pressure and they start to fail really rapidly. So they did some great studies in horses showing that a simple continuous pattern is more effective because the pressure redistributes, and all of your knots, all of your suture distributes the pressure, and nobody fails. So simple continuous is easier, faster, and more effective. So we have yet to convince some groups of that, but we close all our horses with it, so you can close your dogs with it too. He is now doing a simple continuous just to close the wound, just as you would any other. You could do a subcuticular here. He's going to do a simple continuous and then a skin. For a baby like this, if you're doing a skin, I would do absorbable suture, because you really would be in an awkward position to try to remove your suture, and that would be fine. You could even get by without doing a skin suture at all, just do a subcutaneous, as I said, or a subcuticular. He's all done. The baby is ready to get up, and it needs to be stall rested until that body wall